Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, Miss Jackie Russell, and I'm ready for 2026. And I have my first look that I want to share with you guys. And this is it using Natasha Denona Glam Palette. Yep, I've got it right here. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to tell you what I put on to get this look. And I want to wish you all a happy new year. I know by the time you see this, it'll be toward the end of January, but you can still be celebrating the new year, having your New Year's resolutions and all those good things. So, let me tell you what I did. This is the palette. It was called the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. And yes, I used her blush, which is kind of a brownish color, and that's what I got. I didn't get that pinkish tone. This is what the palette looks like. It's very pretty. I was looking for a brown tone palette to go with my little leopard outfit here, and I thought, what am I going to use? And then I found this box because, you know, I've been buying palettes, and they kind of get pushed aside of each other, and they kind of get a little lost. But I've got on my Estee Lauder foundation, and I use Smashbox Blur and Prime Photo Finish for my primer, and I really like it. But I used that dark color, and it didn't turn out too dark, so I was really impressed. So you can build it. I'm sure you can make it darker if you wanted to. And then I used the highlighter over it, and then I also used the highlighter up underneath my eyebrow. And then when I got ready to do my eyes, I used this light color all over my eyelid. And then I went over it with this pinkish color back and forth. And I did those a couple of times, like in the very beginning. And then when I got done, I finished it off with those two. And then I took this color in my crease. And you can see the darker in my crease, but there should be some hints of this rusty color in there. Then I put a little bit of this kind of darker rusty color toward the outer edges, going toward the out. But of course the dark is what I've got in the inner corners of my eyes. And those are the colors. She calls them outer corner, transition, sticks, inner corner, and then crease. And I kind of did it that way, but my own way of doing it. But that's how I did it. And for my eyebrows, I use my BBB. This is the $1 Billion Brow, and it's my favorite. And I use it the most, but I do have several that I use from time to time. And then for my mascara, I went in and used the Benefit Cosmetics Bad Gal Bang Bang. And I really do like this mascara. It works pretty good. And I know a lot of you have said that you like it. And it lengthens pretty good. I didn't use any other mascara on top of it. I just went with this one. And it lengthens a little bit more, so you can work with it and build on it, which I like it when you can do that. So that's a good mascara. I did use this new pen. It's the CLE, I think, Cosmetic Lifestyle Essentials. And this is a Fluid Touch liquid liner, and I got this out of my Goldie Box. And it worked pretty good. It lined out well. It's in black. And so I've got that on the upper half and the lower half going a little more in. And then, of course, I came in with my Estee Lauder cream on the waterline, and then coming into the insides and up a little bit halfway on each side from the inner out. Not all the way over though, just that little bit that you can see where it stops, and then it goes into the black. And I do that to help make my eyes look bigger, so because they're a little bit smaller. Now on my lip liner, I went with Anastasia Beverly Hills. And that's this right here. And I think I got this from BoxyCharm or Ipsy Extra now. But I really like this brown. I didn't think I would, and I need to sharpen it. But even if I don't put brown on, sometimes I'll use this even for other, colors. And you can use a clear and use this, a clear gloss and put over it. But what I used today was the Natasha Denona, and this is a brownish looking lipstick. I need a nude lipstick, and I thought since my eyes were so dark, I would go with a nude lipstick. So I went with this, with the Anastasia brown, and then on top of it, I had a brown from Dibs that I got, and this is 1987, and it looks brown. So it's a good match to go over that lipstick. And those were my lips. So, I mean, basically, that's it. That was my look, and I got a glam look out of it, all right, and I was looking for browns. So this is the Natasha Denona Glam, and I've not ever made a look out of this. So this was my first impression with Natasha Denona and her Glam Face Palette. So I like it. Let me know, do you like it? And we are going to go on to, other looks in the month, and we'll be seeing one right after the other. But as for today, I'm done with this look. You let me know. And now, on to the next look. Hello everybody, welcome to my next look, and this is another Natasha Denona. This is the Yucca palette, and I've used only 3 colors in this look, and I'm going to show it to you. I used that new palette that recently came out with BoxyCharm or Ipsy Extra, and I decided to use 3 colors that I think I've used before, but I can't remember if I showed you guys the look. And it's these 3 colors right here, right on the end there: Camus, Ray, and Willow. And if you can't guess, I've got the Ray, which is this, all over my whole eyes, everything, from the top over up underneath my brow. And then I have this color on my lid, along with in the corners and part of my crease, this dark color here they call Willow. So this is a green look, I guess you'd say. And I toned it down just a little bit with a violet Estee Lauder eyeliner, which is this pretty color here. This is really pretty. And yeah, I do know Estee Lauder, they're a little bit expensive. This runs about $69. Of course, I got it in that box, so it was, I guess I paid $36 to get that plus 4 other items. These run $34, but I always wait till they're like 20% off. After I use that, I use the Lancome, the white, and these two probably run in that same $30 to $34 range. But again, I always try to pick these and get them on sale. But I've got that in my waterline and halfway or quarter over on each side of my eye to brighten up. My mascara that I use today is the Man Eater. And if you hadn't noticed, I'm wearing summer clothes in January. Yeah, it's 70-something degrees right now. I think today I'm recording January 2nd. And it's hot. So, but I like this Man Eater. It has a different type of, brush on there, but it works good, and it even, helps lengthen and thicken after you've got it on. You can reapply and thicken and bring them up a little more. And I'm all about that. I like to be able to pull my eyelashes up, and that works out really good for me, and I like it. So this has been a great mascara. I think before I only had this in a sample size, so I'm glad I got the full size. Okay, now on my cheeks, I went with my Fenty Bubble Band, and this is a really bright pink, and I just really love this blush right now, so I'm using it a lot. Probably get tired of seeing it. And then I'm still using my Bronze Goddess, and I use this color here for contouring underneath just a little bit, all the way down, a little bit down my nose, although I don't know if I remember to do that today. but it's under my chin and stuff. So that's my contour. That's pretty much all I do. And then on my lips, I used a Babel or Bible or Babel. I say Babel. And this was also out at Ipsy, and this is her Ashley, I believe, color. And let me double check that. There's the brand. There's the color. Yes, Ashley. And then I used her Daphne, I believe it is. Yes. Color on my lips. And it's a nice neutral color. And it goes really good with that particular lip pencil. And I don't know how much those are regular. I got those for around $6 through Ipsy Shop. And of course I got this for about $12 through Ipsy Shop. So you can get some good deals through them. Speaking of which, I've got a Rhode Isle lip oil that I'm pretty sure I got from BoxyCharm or Boxy Ipsy, or I got it in the drop shop, the mega drop shop that had 3 items, and this was one of them. And this almost tastes like cotton candy, or smells like, and I really like it. It's a lip oil, and so I've been using that. So this is my basic little look, nothing fancy. I did not put on any highlighter today, so I guess it's just my Smashbox Photo Finish Prime and Blur, and then over that I put my Estee Lauder Double Wear makeup, so that, or foundation, however you want to say it. But this is my look today, and I just wanted to share it. And now on to the next look. Hello there. Well, we're on to the next look, and today I went with an older Estee Lauder palette that I've had for a while. This was like spring 2021 or 22, and I had it packed away and found it. And it's a really cute palette, and it makes a gorgeous look. But this is the colors, and it was a spring palette that they had, and you know, of course they had other things in there, but I really liked the design. Estee Lauder usually doesn't do too many different designs. They usually just have their basic little, you know, little square, and this one was really unique, and it is a gorgeous palette. And that is what's on my eyes, and I really love it. I started off with a base with this here color, the lighter color. Then I went in with the pink that's in the little daisy flower there all over. And then I went with this darker color, like the brown color, in my crease line. And I did a little bit of the purple on the outer edges and coming in. And I didn't do a strong purple, but a little, but you can tell that it's got some purple mixed in there. And then of course I use that for highlighter right there. And then for my eyeliner, I used a purple, because purple or other light colors or other colors are really good, you know, for when you're over 65 or over 60 or 50. It helps not be so dramatic and harsh on your face. So if you can find you a nice purple that you like, and I have several. This one here I had gotten out at Ipsy, and I don't even remember, it's I think Bee Beauty is the brand. So it's really good, and I would recommend it. And then for my mascara, and you can tell I just went halfway and down. I don't have any eyeliner to the inside except for whatever I might have smudged across there. And that's to help to keep my eyes open. And then for my mascara, I used the Tartelette tubing mascara, and it did really good. And you know, it's a buildable mascara, so you know, you can actually make it more. I only put one coat, and because I thought it did pretty good with that one coat. So it works really good, and as you can see, it built it just a little bit more. So this is a very good mascara. I would recommend it. Now on my cheeks, I went with another Estee Lauder palette, and this is one that is an all-in-one. It has the blush, and it has your highlighter and your contour. And I didn't use the contour today. I just used the blush, but I used the blush on my cheeks and on my eyes, where you can see that little bit deeper pink kind of in the center and over. That is the blush. I decided to put that on there to give it a little more pop of pink. And then I highlighted, I used that highlighter on my cheeks, and then I put it up on my eyebrow as well. So this is going to be a really quick show you how I got ready. This was a real easy one. I was kind of in a hurry, so I cut down some steps. Now I did use this lip liner, and I never can remember, but I think this is Be Beauty. And it's a nice little liner. And if you know that I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I can just tell you that the shade is really a nice color of pink. And I like it. It goes well with my Estee Lauder pink that I have here. And I think this is Pink Obsession. Let me see. Yeah, this is Pink Obsession with Estee Lauder. I got it out of one of their little free packs. You know, when you get a free lipstick, a full lipstick. It's a full size. It's a beautiful color of pink, and I really like it. And I'm stocked up on pink now. I've got lots of pink colors. And then I use the Dolly, which is like a pink, Buxom, for my plumper. So that's my look today. Just nice and simple. Nothing really fancy, but it really pulled together when I want to wear pink. And then, of course, with my little pink plaid shirt that I have on here, the flannel. Worked out great. So I wanted to show it. I was not going to, and then I decided, yeah, I need to show y'all some of the other looks that I do that are not, you know, like some of the other palettes I've done, so that you can have a full array of what is available. Now, I will say, in defense of Estee Lauder, it is one of my favorite cosmetics, and her makeup stays on. The double wear stays on. The eyeshadows and everything stay on. So if you're looking for one that she has good shadows and that they stick and stay, then I would recommend. They're nice and creamy, but they don't have a lot of fallout, which is great. And I just really like them. So I've got several of her palettes, and used to, before I even started this channel, that's all I had was Estee Lauder makeup pretty much. Some Clinique, but mostly Estee Lauder, because, you know, I found it for years to be very good. And anyways, that's my look for today. You let me know if you like this look and if you've picked a favorite yet. And now we will head over to the next look. Okay, we're on to the next look. And guys, this is the GirlGalactic look. And I went with that postcard look that they had put in the Ipsy box. I guess you could say my style. But I decided to go with this Ipsy look with the green and then the purple in the crease. And this is what I came up with, I guess going my style a little bit. And I just put the greens, both of the greens, and then I put both the purples. And let me show you the palette. It was the GirlGalactic palette, the Eternal palette, volume 2. And then what I did was I used those 4 colors right here on the end there. Let me see, there we go, so you can see them better. Mint, Clover, Hottie, and Wisteria. And I started off with the flats and put the green, which they call mint, all over on both sides. And then I went over it with the sparkly Clover. And then I went in my crease with the flat purple, which they call Hottie, and then I put the Wisteria on top of that. And that is how I created this look. It was a little bit different than what I usually do, but I wanted to see how that look would be on me at 65. And I did use a little bit of the pink there, and they call that Paris. I use that for my highlighter up above, underneath my brow, I mean. So that is my look, and this is a very nice palette. It was easy to work with. I didn't have any trouble at all. I used a purple liner. I decided to use the Charmancy liner that I have, and I think this is probably getting toward the end as far as using it. I've totally used up the other side, but I still have the wet, and so I used that not all the way over, but halfway, 3/4 over, and then on top. And that was my eyeliner. I thought with the purple that would go best. And then for my mascara, I used my Persona, and I think I got this out of FabFitFun, but it could have been Ipsy. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But it has like this little wand or brush that's different, and I think you can build on it. We're going to see real quick. I brought it in here. I thought I can give it a try. I think it did build it a little. But it also, I don't know if it seemed to like clump it through, but it still worked okay, and it still brought them up. So anyway, that was Persona. It's new to me. I don't use this one very much. It's in black. And then I use my BBB Billion Dollar Brow. This is the universal color that I've got on my brows. And as I tell y'all, I try not to come down too far, but this one side over here got a little further down than what I wanted. This side over here. But, that happens sometimes. I'm not perfect. And then I wanted to tell y'all, I did use Smashbox, and I've been telling y'all that. I'm using the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. And this works really good, and I like it. And I was telling y'all, it's kind of white. It's clear, like when you put it on. And it reminds me of a silicone-based primer. So, which is good. I mean, it helps the makeup lay down good with the Estee Lauder. And then on my cheeks, I got the Lucky Chick out, and I decided to use this. This is an Angel Babe, and I used the Rosa up there in the corner, and I used the Wish, which is right here for the bronzer, and then I used Dream over here. You can't even tell I was in it, but I was. And I put the pink on my cheeks, and then I went underneath with the bronze a little bit up here, and then under my chin to kind of chisel it out just a little bit. And then, of course, I put my highlighter on top, of my cheeks. Now, I sprayed my face with Estee Lauder setting spray, and then I put that on. So I learned that little tip from Ipsy, from one of their glam people, Ashley or something, I think. And then on my lips, I went with Charlotte Tilbury, and I've used several different things. And this is her Pillow Talk line. This is Lip Cheat in Pillow Talk. That's the color that she calls it. And then I have a little mini lipstick that is Pillow Talk as well. That's her big famous color that she first had. I've got that on as a base. Then I went on, she's got a balm that's really nice, and this one here is in Happy Petal, and it's kind of a pinkish looking balm. So I put that on top of the lipstick, and then if that wasn't enough, I went and used her Pillow Talk Big Lip Plumpgasm, and it's really nice. And I thought I would use that since I've got the brighter colors on my eyes. So that's basically my look today. So what do you think? It's different and it's colorful, and I think this would be great for spring or summer. It's just a real pretty look, and it's just nice and light, but it's colorful. And I don't know, I think I got close to that. Now I did bring my purple all over, from my crease. I went all the way down and up, so up and over into my crease, because I thought that's the way she had it when you look on there. So that's what I did. And of course I used the pink on top, and then again, this was the palette that I used. You let me know what you think. Do you like this look? Now I know we've got several others, so you'll just have to let me know what's your favorite look. But as for today, that's all I have for this one, and now on to the next one. I've changed clothes because I'm getting ready to do another video, but I wanted to show you that I went and added my cream color underneath my eyelids and to the insides of my eye. And I just wanted to show you how that makes a difference, just that one little thing, to bring your eyes out even more if you want to, and if you can do that in your waterline. And that's my Estee Lauder cream. And I thought I would at least plug that in on this video so you could see this look just alter just a little bit with the purples and the greens. And it's kind of an aqua green, so it goes well with this outfit too. Now, on to the next look. And we're on to the next look. That's right, this time I have another Estee Lauder look. I can't remember what I showed before, but I think I did have an Estee Lauder earlier this month. But this here is the Estee Lauder Pink Mink. Now, you can't get this palette anymore because I've had it forever. But it comes in their little square box here. And you can tell it's worn because I have used it. But I've used it a lot, but you can't tell it really by my usage there. But I've used all those colors. I've got that darker pink over here, right across my lid, all over and then up a little bit. Then I went up with the lighter pink over that and up into my underbrow. And then I went in with this color kind of on the edges of the lid, toward the outer edges. And then I also went in with some of that in my crease line and some of this. And that's what I got. And of course I used the highlighter color for the top part. So that's my Estee Lauder Pink Mink. I thought I'm gonna be in pink today, and so I grabbed this palette. I have several pinks, but I really like this one a lot, so I thought I would show it again. Now, I did use just one liner. I used my dual-sided cream and Noor. And this here is just, I'm talking about, it's just a little bit in the corners. So it kind of gives me them black eye looking corners, doesn't it? But I just did just a little bit on top and a little bit on bottom. And then, of course, I've got this white in my waterline and a little bit underneath there. So that was my eyes. I did get my Too Faced Better Than Sex waterproof mascara, and I have that on. And those were my eyes. I could probably lift that a little bit if we want to have a more dramatic look for your eyes. It lifts them up. Yeah, it did. And a lot of times you do that after it dries, or I do, and then I just get me a little thicker eyelash look out of it. So very good. Pulled that up like that. And then for my blush, I got my Charlotte Tilbury out, and I used this. It's very shiny. And this is her pink. I could have got pink or peach. I got both, but I used the pink palette today for the blush, and then I used the highlighter today. And that's all I have on up there. I didn't do any contouring. And then I just went real simple. I grabbed my BBB brow, so I had that on my brow. And I used my Estee Lauder pink lip liner, and I need to sharpen that up a little bit. And then I used the Real Her, and this is in a pink as well. It's called So Sassy, and I really love this lipstick. It's becoming a favorite. It's a great color, and then I topped it off with some Buxom, and this is Ginger. And I just used a little bit of that. I wanted the puff or the plump, but I didn't necessarily want it fully covered, so it's just to plump up my lips. And when I do it like that, I just put like a little on like that, and then do that, and that's my plump. So that's my look. Let me know what you think. And of course my foundation is Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I did use the Double Wear Stay in Place concealer. So that's the look today. Let me know what you think. And now, on to the next one. Hey, we're on to the next look, and it could be my final look. So you guys got to let me know which one was your favorite. But today, this one is Charlotte Tilbury. And almost everything I have on is from Charlotte Tilbury, other than my foundation with Estee Lauder. And yeah, I may have to reconsider that after some things I've learned. but it has never bothered me, so I'm not sure. But anyways, that's another story. I am going to show you what I have on. I have done a Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette. It is one of her quads, and it is the luxury palette, the Bella Sophia. And I believe I got that last year when I ordered the mystery boxes. And this is the palette. So it's got neutral colors with some gold, and I have every color on. Of course, you can probably figure the light color champagne went all over as a base. And then I came in with this color next from my outer corners to the inner. And then I came up with this one and I blended into that. And then I also have some of this going halfway over and out on my lid. And then, of course, I put the gold on there. And that's what's on top of all that. So that is my look with the Bella Sophia palette from Charlotte Tilbury. And then I used her eyeliner. I used a Charlotte Tilbury brown. And I believe this is a Pillow Talk. It's a Brafella brown. I'm not sure what that means. Not Pillow Talk, but I do like this brown. It's one of my favorite eyeliners. But anyways, I used that, outer to inner. And then, of course, I got my Estee Lauder cream in the upper parts and in my eye waterline. So this I put to the insides and out. You might not tell much because I got the shadow over it, but it was there. And then I used the Charlotte Tilbury full fat lashes. Now, I think I have other mascaras that give me fuller, fatter lashes than this, but I am going to go over it real quick, see if it'll build. And I'm looking in my mirror over here, and it did build it up a little bit. Yeah, it built up both of them pretty good. So anyways, I used her mascara, and then I used her palette. This is a blush palette. It's in pink. And then we also have a highlighter there. And of course, I've got the pink blush on and the highlighter over the top of it. And this is in Hollywood Blush, a Glow Glide palette. So that's what the color is, Hollywood Blush. I used a Rhodial loose powder all over on top of my makeup and my Estee Lauder concealer. I always wear a concealer, and I'm kind of glad that I do now because that concealer could be protecting me from any eyeshadow pigments that may not be as clean as they should be. I've been learning a little bit about that too. So I would recommend you putting a concealer or an eyeshadow primer on your eyes that you trust before you put your shadows on for just extra protection and not getting a dirty type shadow directly on your lid. So that's just a tip there I'll leave. And then on my brows, I use the $1 Billion Brow, and I always use this. This is in the universal color. And on my lips, I use the Bisha lip liner, and this is kind of like in a blush color, and it goes real good with this one. And there's not a name on here other than Bisha, so I can't tell you which color it is. But I used her lipstick Catwalking, and this is one of the Pillow Talk versions, and you can tell I'm really getting on down there. I use it more sparingly now because I really do like it. And then I used this here is Charlotte Tilbury liquid lipstick. I use that on top of there, and this is in Pillow Talk. And then on top of all that, I put on her Plump Gasm. This is Pillow Talk Plump Gasm Plumper. And so that's on top. And I'm telling you, with this lipstick here, it stays like wet. If you don't want your lipstick to get matty and too dry, then you might be interested in this. It's really a good product, and I like Charlotte Tilbury, but I don't use her skincare too much. I just pretty much use her beauty products. Okay, that's it. And if this is the last one, then I would love for you to tell me what you think about this look. And then I'd like to know what you think about the previous looks. This has been a whole month of January, and of course, I can't believe we're going to start into February. That's just crazy. 2025 flew by, and now 2026, the first month, is almost here and gone. But anyway, you let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the beauty looks, and I really appreciate your input. If you'd like to see something different or a particular palette look, let me know, and I'll try to fit that into my rotation. But as for today and this look, that's all I have. And as usual, I wish you all a blessed and happy day. Bye-bye. Solar Wave 2-in-1 Skincare Mini, and this is red and infrared light therapy, and it's a compact device for face, body, non-invasive, and easy to use. And look how small it is. It's so tiny. New 2-in-1 Skincare Mini is ideal for red light therapy beginners. It reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, improves skin firmness, elasticity, and radiance. But the idea is to have the red light therapy going up against your face. And you don't necessarily have to touch it, I don't think. You can just be going around it. You want to do it in 3-minute increments. Depuff your eyes. You might want to have this right here. And it can be anywhere on your body. You could do it under your neck. I also got it for my hand. And it's compact and ready to go. And drop it in your purse. Isn't that fantastic? Be sure and use my link